Okay, so if you're trying to keep up with all the sports news right now, especially around here, it feels almost impossible, doesn't it? Regional teams are making headlines constantly.
Oh, absolutely. One minute there's this huge win, maybe a career game for someone, and then boom, 2 days later, it's like it never happened. There's a whole new story, a new challenge.
That speed, that turnover, is exactly what we're seeing in the sources we looked at. Really recent stuff, all from maybe October 28th to the 31st, just the last few days of 2025.
Yeah, and our mission today is basically to cut through that noise. We've gathered these key reports, and we want to pull out, the real challenges teams are facing right now, check on player status, and also highlight some local wins that maybe got buried.
Right. And a big theme seems to be managing, let's call it emotional velocity, like how teams handle the highs and lows. We'll dive into the Packers and their whole psychological situation.
Then the Bucks dealing with a sudden, pretty major absence.
And we've got some important updates from college hoops and even high school sports that tie into this. Okay, let's get into it.
Sounds good.
Let's kick off on the gridiron. Green Bay Packers. The sources seem pretty clear. Their biggest job right now isn't about strategy or plays.
No, not primarily.
It's mental. It's all about keeping focus, maintaining that momentum for the upcoming Panthers game. But that sounds simple, but the context makes it really tough.
It's incredibly tough. Coaches sometimes call this a sandwich game, right? They're squeezed between two massive events.
Explain that. What's the sandwich here?
Okay, so on one side, they just came off this huge, very emotional win, like a really big peak.
Against the Steelers.
Exactly, against Pittsburgh, led by you-know-who. Yeah. Their former quarterback, Aaron Rodgers. Beating him wasn't just another W.
No, that had to feel like validation,
Yeah.
closure, maybe?
Absolutely. Monumental closure. An organizational exhale, almost. Like an adrenaline dump for the whole team. You beat the ghost of seasons past.
Okay, so that's one side. Huge emotional high. What's the other side of the sandwich? What are they scaring down?
Well, the sources keep mentioning this looming event. It's the Eagles rematch, a massive high-stakes game that everyone knows is just around the corner.
Okay, so they beat Rodgers, feeling amazing, but everyone outside the building, maybe even inside, is already thinking about Philly. That's got to be distracting.
Extremely. So how do you, as a coach, get your team ready for the Panthers, who are not a pushover, by the way, when they've just slayed their personal dragon and the media is hyping the next big battle?
That's a million-dollar question, isn't it? Sounds like the ultimate test of just discipline, game-to-game focus.
Totally. And the sources suggest the message from the team leadership is almost obsessive about it. Compartmentalize. Focus on this week.
But is that even realistic? I mean, after a win like the Rodgers one, don't players want to soak that in a bit?
Yeah.
And with the Eagles next, aren't they naturally going to peek ahead?
Of course they do. That's human nature. The danger is if you spend too long looking back or too long looking forward, the Panthers game becomes an afterthought. And that's your classic trap game. You walk in unprepared, emotionally flat, and get punched in the mouth.
So are the sources saying this Packers team is somehow uniquely built to handle this? Or is it more about the process?
It seems less about uniqueness and more about operational discipline. The speed of the reset is key. You can't spend 72 hours celebrating the Steelers' win. You just can't.
You lose practice time, mental prep time.
Exactly. The mandate is maintenance. Stick to the routine. Block out the noise about the Eagles. Make practice so demanding, physically and mentally, that players literally don't have the energy left to worry about next week.
Okay, so here's where it gets really interesting for me. It sounds like this Panthers game is almost like a test of their maturity, right?
Spot on.
That emotional boost from beating Rodgers, great, fantastic. But if they stumble against Carolina because they were already thinking about Philly,
Poof. That psychological win evaporates. Worse, you lose confidence right before the massive Eagles rematch. The past win and the future game are basically conspiring against the present moment.
wow. So that emotional high only really counts if they prove they can handle it by winning now.
That's the razor's edge they're walking. It demands a level of professional maturity that, frankly, sometimes teams only learn the hard way after a really bad loss. But the Packers are being asked to show it after a huge win. That's tough.
Okay, quite the tightrope walk for Green Bay.
Definitely. Now, shifting gears, but sticking with this theme of, intense effort followed immediately by consequence. Let's look at the NBA. Milwaukee Bucks.
Yeah, a big shift from psychological momentum to just raw physical status and availability.
Exactly. And this news just dropped, really critical for fans. Giannis Antetokounmpo. He was officially ruled out for Thursday night's game.
Against the Golden State Warriors, no less. Not exactly an easy opponent to face shorthanded.
Not at all. And the detail that really jumps out from the sources, the thing that tells you a lot about how they're managing him this year.
It's his first missed game of the season, right?
Correct. First game missed. That immediately signals, okay, they're being cautious, maybe managing his workload early on. It sets a precedent.
And it makes you wonder why now? What
Yeah.
led to this? You have to look at what he just did, don't you?
Absolutely. To understand the absence, you look at the output just 2 days before, Tuesday night.
Against the Knicks. Bucks won that one, 121-111. And Giannis. Well, he was Giannis.
He was incredible. Explosive is the right word. The stat line was 37 points, 8 rebounds, 7 assists. Just a monster game.
But it wasn't just the numbers, was it? The context matters. They were down big in that game.
They were down 12 points at halftime. So this wasn't some easy coast-to-victory performance.
No. Erasing a 12-point deficit requires immense effort, intensity, leadership.
Yeah.
Probably puts a lot more strain on the body than just maintaining a lead.
Precisely. He had to basically take over possessions, dominate, will them back into it in that second half, and it worked. But, the sources also mentioned he got crucial help. Rollins had a big game off the bench, 25 points.
Right, so maybe that massive effort, that comeback push,
Yeah.
maybe it just took a toll, leading directly to sitting out Thursday.
It seems like a very plausible connection. You see this peak dominance on Tuesday, pouring everything he has into securing a tough comeback win, and then bang, Thursday, he's unavailable, first time all year.
The speed there is jarring. High performance, then immediate absence. Fits our theme perfectly.
And connecting it to the bigger picture, this sequence, huge game, followed instantly by him sitting out. It immediately raises that question about team depth.
Yeah, how reliant are they? What happens when the cost of his superstar effort is needing immediate rest? This tests the whole structure they built around him, doesn't it?
It really does.
Yeah.
Especially early in the season against a team like Golden State.
So who needs to step up? Based on the sources, who are we looking at to fill that massive void, even just for one night?
Well, with Giannis out, the spotlight shifts, right? It moves to guys who were maybe seen as complementary pieces before. Rollins showed he could score against the Knicks. That's good.
But you need more than one guy.
Definitely. You need sustained production from your other main guys. And maybe players, the sources hint, have depth potential, like Marjon Beauchamp, maybe Jay Crowder. They need to do more than just play defense. They need to absorb shots, create offense. We're talking maybe 10, 15 shot attempts that normally go through Giannis.
So this one game, unexpectedly, becomes a real early test. Can they win or even compete hard without their centerpiece? It tells you a lot about their true contender status.
Exactly. It's all about consequence management, like you said. Okay, let's pivot now. Let's talk local. Sometimes these stories get lost, but they matter a lot to the community.
Agreed. Let's start with college hoops. University of Wisconsin men's basketball. There was some key roster news around October 28th.
Yeah, significant news. The team announced the dismissal of Elijah Gray. He was a senior transfer from Temple.
A senior transfer dismissed right near the start of the season.
Yeah.
That feels like a big deal. What does that usually signal, beyond just one player leaving?
Well, it typically points to a pretty serious issue, either a major mismatch in expectations between the player and the coaching staff, maybe not adhering to team rules or standards, or potentially it could be about team chemistry, needing to make a tough adjustment.
Right. It's not just an empty roster spot.
No, especially in college basketball where rosters are tighter, it forces an immediate strategy shift, impacts the depth chart right away, and probably changes the recruiting focus too. It's an intervention.
Makes sense. Okay, now for some more positive local news. Stories where that emotional high gets to stick around a bit. Let's talk about Will Mikanovich from Reedsburg.
Ah, yes. Great story. He was named the 15 Sports High School Athlete of the Week. This was for his performance in their Level 1 playoff win against Waterford.
And the sources called it a performance for the ages. That's high praise. What kind of things make a performance qualify for that? Give us a sense of it.
Well, usually it means dominating on both sides of the ball, especially in a huge game, like a playoff elimination game. We're probably talking maybe multiple touchdowns on offense, controlling the game.
And then maybe a game-sealing play on defense.
Yeah.
Like an interception or a crucial stop.
Exactly. That kind of clutch, do-it-all performance under pressure. That's what makes a local kid a legend in their town overnight. It's that immediate, tangible heroism.
Love those stories. It feels more relatable sometimes than the pro level.
And speaking of local connections making it big, there was that cool moment on Sunday Night Football.
Yes, that was awesome. Janesville Craig High School got a mention, a primetime shout-out.
How did that happen during the player intros?
Yeah, you know when the players introduce themselves. Name, college, or sometimes high school. This player, Benton, just said his name, and then Janesville Craig High School.
Why is a little moment like that so powerful for a community like Janesville? Oh, it's huge. It's pure, unfiltered pride, you know? These pro athletes, they often use that tiny moment to honor where they came from, maybe thank a coach, maybe just represent their hometown.
Puts the place on the map for a second, nationally.
Right. For Janesville Craig, it's like, hey, one of ours made it to the biggest stage and he remembers where he started. It reinforces that connection, that bond between the athlete and the community. It's just authentic. Reminds everyone these stars started somewhere real.
Great stuff. Okay, so let's try to wrap this up.
Okay, so summarizing what we've seen across the board this week, it's really about that velocity, right? You have the Packers wrestling with the psychological fallout of a massive win, needing to manage that high.
Then the Bucks immediately facing the practical consequences of Giannis's huge effort, testing their depth with his first missed game.
And then down to the local level, you see significant roster moves impacting college teams, but also these really uplifting moments of individual achievement in high school sports anchoring the community. It's all happening fast.
So what's the big takeaway here for you, the listener? I think the sources really hammer home how quickly sports news turns over. That amazing feeling from a huge win, Packers beating Rodgers, Giannis going off for 37.
It's almost instantly replaced, isn't it, by the next pressing need. Organizational discipline for the Packers, dealing with a critical absence for the Bucks. The win becomes history almost immediately.
Yeah, the narrative shifts on a dime. So let's leave you with this to chew on. That emotional lift the Packers got from beating Rodgers. It feels massive, right? That sense of closure.
Undeniably.
But how much is that actually worth? How do you weigh that psychological boost against the basic, almost boring need for disciplined day-to-day prep, especially with a huge Eagles rematch breathing down their neck?
Is that joy, that closure, going to sharpen their focus for the Panthers? Or could it maybe breed just enough overconfidence to walk right into that trap game?
Where does that emotion stop being helpful? And where does cold, hard discipline have to take over completely? Something to think about as they head into the weekend.